IBF Junior Middleweight World Champion and the current hard-hitting, undefeated, reigning and defending WBC Middleweight Champion of the World, introducing Charlo, former Super Middleweight Champion of the World, introducing El Bandera Roja,
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So this is definitely going to be one of those I told you so videos. A good 4 or 5 years ago, when Oscar De La Hoya was promoting Canelo Alvarez, he said something that was extremely revealing. At least he was being very honest at the least. He said, in order for Canelo Alvarez to be great, and he always said it in a nice way, I know Canelo wants to be great. So in order for him to be great, he's going to have to beat the likes of the Andrades and the Charlos. This is what Oscar De La Hoya said almost 5 years ago, right? I told you guys it was probably, maybe, I don't know, maybe a couple months after he said that, all of a sudden out of nowhere, Canelo Alvarez, he starts dissing Oscar De La Hoya. He starts talking about how Oscar De La Hoya is not loyal. And he starts saying personal things about how he used to switch his trainers, etc., right? He never explained why he was saying these things. He just came out and he said these things. And I told you guys, I truly believe that Canelo Alvarez, or I should say Oscar De La Hoya, he's putting a lot of pressure on Canelo to take the Andrade fight, to take the Charlo fight. Why? Because this is what Oscar De La Hoya did in his career. When Oscar De La Hoya was a prime fighter, Oscar De La Hoya, he took on the Andrades, he took on the Charlos, Ike Bazooka Corte, Pernell Whitaker, Shane Mosley, Felix Tito Trinidad, Bernard Hopkins, just to name a few. I also told you guys that eventually Oscar De La Hoya is going to come out and he's going to admit that he wanted Canelo to fight these guys all along. Maybe it's going to be when he's no longer promoting Canelo Alvarez. Maybe it will be 10 years from now, right? When he feels that he really has nothing to lose by saying it. But eventually the truth is going to come to light and Oscar is going to reveal all of these things. And that day has finally come. I want you guys to check out this clip. Oscar De La Hoya, he did an interview with Fight Hype, and he was asked about the 2 deals that were on the table. Either a 2-fight deal to fight Bivol and Golovkin, or a 2-fight deal to fight Charlo and Benavidez. And this is what Oscar De La Hoya said. Check it out.
I said, way long overdue.
Yes, or a doubleheader of Charlo and Benavidez. What would you advise Canelo to do if you were, still working arm in arm with him?
If I was in Canelo's ear, I would, me, Lance, I would go for the toughest guys. I would go for Benavidez and Charlo. Obviously, the monies that are being offered are almost the same, but I strongly feel that Canelo wants to be great. He wants to break records.
Yeah.
So in order for him to do that, hopefully he'll pick Benavidez and Charlo, and make a lot of money at the same time. So he's literally hitting 2 birds with 1 stone here. He can make a lot of money and fight the very best and continue with his legacy.
But if anyone knows about legacy, it's you. Doesn't he need to take that 3rd Triple G fight just to once and for all get that guy, knock him out?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and when I said long overdue, I mean, I think Canelo has only gotten better and Triple G has declined just a bit. So it would be a perfect moment for Canelo to kind of put the nail on the coffin, so to speak. But I think that for legacy, where Canelo's at in his career, I strongly feel that he should go after Benavidez and Charlo.
There it is. You hear Oscar De La Hoya corroborating everything that real boxing fans have been saying since day one. And when it comes from Oscar De La Hoya, because Oscar De La Hoya is a Mexican fighter that practices what he preaches. He's already walked the walk. He's not asking Canelo Alvarez to do things that Oscar wouldn't do himself. In fact, if you guys have been paying attention, almost all of the greatest Mexican fighters have pretty much said the same things about Canelo Alvarez that Oscar said. From Juan Manuel Marquez to Eric Morales to Julio Cesar Chavez, right? Did I say Marco Antonio Barrera? They have all criticized Canelo Alvarez for his cherry picking, his selection of opponents, and not getting in the ring with the most dangerous opponents. The last dangerous, very dangerous opponent that Canelo Alvarez was in the ring with, it was Gennady Golovkin. And that was the last time Canelo Alvarez put the video game's difficulty level on hard mode. You guys probably already know by now, but Canelo recently came out and responded to the criticism, the backlash he was receiving for cherry picking, basically. And he shared some fans' posts where the post was something like, you know, you can't win for losing. If I pick Bivol, they're going to say I'm ducking Charlo. If I pick Charlo, they're going to say I'm, you know, ducking Bivol, etc., 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 right? But the problem with him sharing a post like that is no one had ever asked Canelo Alvarez to fight Yildirim. No one ever asked Canelo Alvarez to move up to 175 or even 168 to fight Rocky Fielding. Fans have been demanding that Canelo fight Andrade and Charlo years and years ago before Bivol was even in the picture, right? They have conducted polls on the internet. I've seen polls on the internet where thousands of people have voted. The question in the poll was, who do you want to see Canelo Alvarez fight? And this was before Charlo had his bad performance against Montiel. The fans overwhelmingly picked Jamal Charlo as the opponent. Have you ever seen a poll where fans were saying, man, forget about that. I want to see him fight Yildirim. I want to see him fight Rocky Fielding, Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Plant. No one was demanding those fights, so it makes no sense for him to say, well, if I fight this guy, you guys are going to tell me that. Because he's making it sound as if he has already fought all the guys that the fans have wanted him to fight. And he hasn't fought any of the guys that the fans have been wanting him to fight since the whole controversy with Gennady Golovkin. And when I say fans, I'm talking about everyone. Professional boxers like Oscar De La Hoya, analysts and trainers like Teddy Atlas, and once again, almost all of the greatest Mexican fighters have been putting pressure on Canelo to take these fights. So you can't sit over here and say, oh, if I fight this guy, I can't win for losing. You haven't fought any of those guys. And you had the opportunity to fight these guys in the last 6 years. And if you really believe that you were the best, and you really believe that you could beat all of these guys, you would have told the public, look, I'm going to clean up my business at 160. I'm going to unify all the belts at 160, fight Andrade, Charlo, fight Golovkin in the trilogy. And I'm talking about years ago now, right? Then I'm going to move up to 168, become undisputed there. Then after I beat Benavidez or whoever is the most dangerous opponent there, then I'm going to move up to 175 and become undisputed there. If Canelo would have did that, no one would be talking about him. Even if Canelo would have just fought one of the boogeymen when he was at 160. For example, let's say he doesn't fight Andrade, but he fights and he beats Charlo, or vice versa. That would have been a much better look. He would have got a lot of respect if he would have at least faced one of the boogeymen, but he didn't face any of the boogeymen, right? And to this day, 6 years later, he still hasn't done it. So most likely, as I'm making this video, I'm getting reports. I don't know if it's rumors or if it's official, But I'm getting notifications right now that Canelo has agreed to the Bivol fight, which I told you it was leaning towards that because there was already a report about a week ago that Bivol had already signed his portion of the contract, which led me to believe that Charlo and Benavidez, they never even received a contract, but Bivol did. But the fact that Canelo Alvarez is fighting Bivol next, or he most likely will fight Bivol next, it kind of feels like there's a good chance he'll never end up facing Benavidez or Charlo because of the simple fact that it would make way more sense, since he's already fighting at 168, it would make way more sense for him to clean that mess up first and then move up to 175. I mean, for a perfect example, let's just imagine if Bivol, if he was a super welterweight, right? And Crawford, who's a welterweight, he has the two options on the table. He has the two offers on the table. He can either fight Errol Spence right then and there, or he can move up to 154 and fight Bivol. What do you think Crawford is going to do? And what do you think is going to make the most sense? It's a rhetorical question, right? The whole thing is Canelo, if he truly believed he was the best fighter in the world, he would have fought Benavidez and Charlo and then moved up and fought Bivol, Beterbiev, etc., etc. But that's not the way Canelo Alvarez rolls, which is the reason why he's not pound for pound, even top 5 the best fighter in the world. But if he does beat Bivol decisively, I would definitely put him in the top 5. It would be the biggest win of his career. Once again, if he does it without controversy. Because it's kind of hard to say which one of Canelo Alvarez's wins are the biggest, because at least the biggest names, you know, all of his wins have been with controversy. Gennady Golovkin, Lara. So you can't say those are his best wins. You would probably have to say his biggest wins is against Callum Smith or Caleb Plant, right? Because those were the only wins he got without controversy. So let's see if he can move up and fight Bivol, stop him or beat him without controversy. That would be extremely impressive if he can do that. I'm gonna wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Diki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodiki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. So to get this hookup, make sure you follow and contact my man Scalp Carolinas on Instagram.